It's your most authoritative on TV. It's The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlimle on your digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, we are in the north of Ghana where there is a race against time to save large tracts of farmlands and produce and other property likely to be destroyed by floods when authorities in Burkina Faso spill the Bagre Dam. We have officials who will be embarking on this exercise to assure us of measures to put in place to avert devastating impact. Also this afternoon, Ghana Police Service commissions the National Motor Traffic Monitoring and Surveillance Center at the police headquarters with over 3,000 intelligent video surveillance cameras stationed at major intersections and accident-prone areas to arrest such acts. We're live with experts and also a demonstration of how it works. Plus, we'll make a stop in Germany where President Akufo-Addo is using the opportunity of the African leaders meeting to convince German investors to invest in Ghana. We have details of that plus the COVID situation in that country in a conversation with our DW partners. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Dignilu Affordable Safe Sanitation. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag #ThePulse. My personal handle is at @TheNana Aisha. I am super excited to host you.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Let's start from the north of Ghana where there is a race against time to save large tracts of farm produce and other property likely to be destroyed by floods when authorities in Burkina Faso spill the Bagre Dam. Previous spills have left many residents displaced and several properties destroyed, including farmlands. The impact has been devastating over the years. Here's the background of the Bagre Dam. It will come on your screen shortly. But when it comes, we'll be telling you about what authorities have done so far. But of course, we've seen farmers trying to harvest their farm produce ahead of Friday's spill. And we will be speaking to NADMO and Farmers Association on what to do to minimize the impact. First, though, let's connect with our correspondents in the regions up north to check the mood there. On Zoom, joining me are our correspondents from the north. Rafiq Salam is in the Upper West region where floods from long hours of rainfall have already battered farmlands, destroyed roads and left many displaced. And of course, Albert Sori would also be joining us. But let's look at the graphics coming to you. Sonabel is the agency that manages the Bagre and Kompienga dams in Burkina Faso. It has announced that the annual spillage of the dams would take place from Friday, August 27 to Monday, August 30 this year. The upstream level of the Bagre Dam has risen to 233.99 meters with a rate of rise at 86.51% as against 101.16% same period last year. This means that, this year's spillage may cause less havoc than previous years. If you look at the increased rate of 86 to 101 there, then you know that the spillage the damage may be less. Now, the number of persons killed is 6 in 2020 through the Bagre Dam spillage. Number of persons displaced is over 78,000, and farmlands destroyed is almost 32,000 acres. Dr. Baumia has been speaking on this. According to him, Works on the over $1 billion Pwalugu Dam were in progress to help halt flooding from the Bagre Dam spillage. Now, the Vice President disclosed that prior to the flooding, the contractors had already commenced work by clearing the site up to the river. This is something we'll be finding out to know where exactly we are with that one. Now, NADMO has begun sensitization of residents living in flood-prone areas along the White Volta on what to do to save lives and property. All right, so Rafik is on. Albert Sori would also be joining us for this conversation. We have Martina Bagre, who is from the north, and we also have Isaac Nonya from the Savannah region. Let's start with you, Rafik Salam. What can you tell us?
Aisha, thank you for your time. Anytime this issue of the Bagre Dam spillage comes to mind, the people in the Upper West region, especially those living in the Eastern Corridor, have a lot of fears. They have sleepless nights because they know what it can do to their lives. And so normally, these Bagre Dam, one is spilled. It happens around River Sicily, coming towards the Tumu area, and then also around the What East district. And so the people actually, they have a lot of fears when it comes to mind that it's going to be spilled. And so NADMO, for the past few weeks, a couple of weeks, has been telling people in those areas that they should, especially those living in the low-lying areas, to move up so that they could avoid this spillage. You know, afterwards we are having a disaster of our own, talking about this floods that occurred in the region. And so they think that it will be double agony or double jeopardy on the part of the people if this should happen to them. So NADMO, the past few days, has been talking to the communities that are lying around the area, especially those living around the eastern corridor of the region, so that they move upstream, so that they move up and then to save lands. And they're even advising them to even use schools and also churches or mosques. At least they should be a safer place for them to stay in.
Sorry, you are in the Upper East region where the impact has been felt heaviest in the past villages.
Yes, Aisha, and this year the farmers again are extremely worried. Today I've been talking to some of them in the Pwalugu area, also as well as Balungu in the Talensi district. And again, they are afraid that what always happens when times like this come could repeat this year. Now, the challenge is that these farmers have no other lands apart from the farms that they have around the basin of the White Volta where they do the farming. And so every year they keep going back to try. Some of them are able to harvest before the floods come. Others are not able to. So as we speak, there are those who have said that they have managed to harvest a little. Some have started, trying to get the little they can get from their farms today, in the hope that by the time the water gets here, they would have been able to get a little of their harvest before any impending floods. Last year, we had a very serious situation in the Upper East region because we had heavy rains in this region around the same time that the dam was spilled. So it made the situation very serious than it would have been if it had to do with just the spillage from the Bagre Dam. This year, it appears that the heavy rains have already come and gone because the last 2 weeks and last week, we had so many rains. We haven't had so many of them this week. So the expectation is that if the rains don't return, only the spillage will not cause the same amount of havoc that it caused last year, because last year we lost lives and we had the Bolga-Boku Road cut off at Kobori in the Boku West district. That was when the vice president had to come and then, see the situation for himself and get the roads minister involved to try and, reconstruct that road and open it to traffic once again. So the expectations are that maybe we won't have a similar situation like we had last year, but the farmers are taking precautions.
What has been the impact over the years? Martina Bagre is joining us from Tamale. Martina Bagre, kindly unmute, Martina.
Yes, Aisha, for the people of the northern region, NADMO has begun sensitization that they move to higher ground. But let's go back to what happened last year. And last year, even though they had early rains, and so people were able to plant early, floods came, took everything. This year is a different story because the rains came in late, and so people had to plant somewhere in May. It means that the harvest is ready yet, but they would have to leave these farmlands and move up to higher grounds. And so the farmers are worried that they would lose eventually everything. Majority of them actually planted late, and just a few are harvested. And that's one part of it. The other issue is that those who were affected, like the Nawuli community, they were asked to relocate. They had agreed to relocate, but they could not build on these new locations. And so they went back to their old community. What we are being told now is that they are being told to move up to higher grounds. And so the people themselves have started moving, hoping that by Friday, they would have moved everything before the floods start coming in.
In the Savannah region, there's also similar impact on farmlands, on individuals. Thankfully, Isaac Nonya is our correspondent there. Isaac Nonya, share with us what the preparations have been for residents there.
Yes, Aisha, preparations so far, those who harvested a groundnut, they have moved out. But farmers who are into vegetable cropping and a yam are yet to do that, because last year the impact was very heavy, and NADMO officials of NADMO and that of the regional minister, they are gone. Have advised these residents and the farmers to relocate from these areas to avoid what happened last year. As of last year, well, there was one life that lost. School people went out to play with their friends and didn't return, and that was it. But I can tell you that many of these victims are these nomads who are cattle raiders, and that of the peasant farmers who will not budge, who will not move out from the location that they were asked to move. So it's a wait and see attitude that is there. But I can tell you that officials from NADMO and that of those who matter from the assembly, Central Gonja and North Gonja, are yet to make a move to get these people out. We don't know whether it was because they told them last year to move, is the reason why they are not making effort to remind them to move up to higher heights or not. But now schools have reopened. In case a similar thing will occur, there will not be any place to house them because students are in now and they cannot do anything like the Salaga Senior High, where it happened last year and a lot of resources were mobilized. Remember, JoyNews, in collaboration with Star Red Cross, mobilized some resources to victims of the flood last year in Central Gonja and North Gonja. So this year, we don't know whether because there will not be much rain in the region, even they open the Bagre Dam, similar to repeated or not.
That is Isaac Nonya, and those are our correspondents across the northern region, painting a picture of how it looks like preparing for the Bagre Dam. But what has previous spills, what has been the impact? Joining us now is Director of Communications at the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Georgia Isi. And also via Zoom is Dr. Charles Nyaba, who is Head of Programs at the Peasant Farmers. Let me start with you, Georgia Isi. What has been your preparation so far towards this exercise? Hello, George. Kindly unmute for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Can you repeat the question, please?
I'm asking what NADMO's preparation has been towards this exercise.
Oh, thank you, Aisha. Good afternoon to you and your viewers. I was happy listening to your correspondence. I think 3 out of 4 have all indicated not more officials have started the community sensitization in the communities and urging people to move to higher and safer grounds. That is it, except for the Savannah guy who says he's yet to see that. But we've engaged our people to begin that exercise. We are going to dispatch a team from headquarters to pitch camp in Wali Wali, so they'll be able to coordinate the activities in all the 5 northern regions that are going to be affected by the spillage. And so, yes, we've started a sensitization. And I was happy again to hear that last year, because of the coincidence of the heavy rains and then the spillage, the effect was very bad on us and the people there. This year, the rains have come, is abated a bit. We pray that the heavy rains holds on a bit, does not coincide with the spillage, so that the impact will not be as devastating as last year. So yes, NADMO is preparing, will be pitching camp, and the community sensitization is going on. We build the assemblies, as one of your correspondents says, the assemblies and opinion leaders in the communities help us to do this job, and the chiefs and elders in the area. So yes, that's what we are doing. We are in readiness to begin the work.
Okay, so Dr. Nyamba, I particularly understand the plight of farmers because of the impact this exercise has had on the farmers, especially and farmlands in past spillages. Now, what has been the fears of farmers? And I mean, to that, what has been their preparation towards this exercise? Dr. Nyamba, kindly unmute for me.
Okay, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Dr. Nyamba.
Okay, thank you so much, Isa, and let me say good afternoon to JoyNews team for doing this wonderful work. I think this is a serious concern coupled with the challenges we are facing this year, which has to do with difficulty access to government subsidized fertilizer and other inputs for farming. You agree with me that from last month, there has been complaints from poultry farmers and consumers in urban areas of shortage of maize and other food commodities. We had mentioned this last year that if contingency measures were not put in place, given that most farms that were dependent for this maize last year were carried away by the flood, it was going to have negative impact on food security. And that was what happened last year. So when we got the announcement that Bagre Dam was going to open, we have started sensitizing our people. We are carrying out radio programs and then doing community sensitization for our people to move to higher grounds. But my concern is that why do we always have to wait so that every year around this time we go and do sensitization, give food items, and then the following year the same thing happens? We don't have to rely or place our hope on Burkina Base so that if they do this, then we come out and do this. The water is a good resource. Very soon, we are the very people who will be crying for water for farming purposes. When the issue came last year and then we were going around discussing with government, we were made to understand that government is quickly going to construct the Pwalugu Dam to contain this water when it comes so that we use it for farming and to avert the impact of the flooding. But nothing has been done since what happened last year. So that is a matter of concern. So for this year, we still appeal to the authorities that we shouldn't wait for this to happen. Then we go there and start mobilizing resources to support the communities. Because what happened last year, when government moved away and the rain subsided, nothing happened again. Government never went there, tried to force these people to move to higher grounds or to relocate them so that this doesn't happen. There hasn't been any intervention to ensure that what we experienced last year doesn't happen again. And this year we are there again. So that is our disappointment. But we are doing something in our small way to sensitize these farmers and those who are settlers around the White Volta Basin to actually move to higher grounds.
Dr. Nyamba, as you prepare for this and also as in your little way sensitize the farmers to be ready for this spillage. I'm sure you're also highly expectant, just like you mentioned, that authorities will put in place measures to deal with the effects. Specifically, because of what you've seen in the past, specifically, what would you expect to be done so that the effect will be minimized?
For now, even though those expected victims are our members, I think we shouldn't wait. All of us, not more government, whoever is concerned, if we can quickly move to those grounds and those that we think that they are at threat of their houses being carried away, we have to find a way of forcing them to move to higher grounds. Because we can't wait when this happens, then the same people will be crying that we should come to their aid. For now, that is what we need to do urgently. We shouldn't wait after the spillage, then we start going to see how we can help them. But for us, we are actually, as we speak, my team are in those communities trying to talk to our members to actually move. But we cannot force them to move, those who are refusing to move. But I think government and NADMO can do that.
So, Mr. Isi, what's the plan for the expectant effect of the spillage, especially for farmers and also property and the others, individuals, if we lose some lives?
Yeah, so the plan... Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Nyaba wants to come in. Dr. Nyaba, come in.
No, that is fine. Let him come in. I'm okay.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. I'm happy with what I'm seeing on your screens, that some farmers are moving in to harvest some of their crops. We didn't have that privilege last year because the crops had not reached the ripe stage, and so most of them were submerged under water. So this year, since they are harvesting some, we're sensitizing them to go ahead, those that are ripe, to harvest them, so they'll be able to have some benefits and all will not be lost to the floods. Again, the sensitization is also going on, but because most of them have their farmlands closer to the banks of the river, especially the white water, it's difficult. If the crops are not ripe for them to harvest, it's likely to be submerged underwater. But the other good news, Aisha, is that most of them, since the recent times, have stopped building close to the flood-prone areas. Most of them are not living there. They only get there because they are farming. There's a fertile place for the farming, but their houses are a bit farther away, and the sensitization is also urging them to move to higher ground, safer area, and integrate with families in safer places. And then, as one of your reporters said, if the need be, and we need to put them in some schools and classrooms or churches, we will do that for their safety. And then their livestock to be moved. These are all part of the sensitization approach. And then our team that is pitching camp in Pwalugu is also going to be there in case of emergency, and some people must be saved. You know, we want them not to attempt to cross the rivers when the floods are in, but sometimes some feel they can cross and go to harvest their crops. And so if we have such recalcitrant ones, our team will be able to go there and support or save their lives. So that's why we are pitching camp in Pwalugu. In case there's any urgent call, we can move within the radius to all the 5 regions where they are under threats of the spillage.
Let's talk about relief items because definitely the effect we know will come, but even though we are praying it will be minimized. How much do you have in stock?
We have some relief items in stock. Prior to the Upper West incident, which washed the roads away, we had pre-positioned some relief items. And so, yes, we used some of that to help those who were affected. Looking at this, northern region, Upper East, Savannah, Upper West, and Northeast, we have some pre-positioned relief items which can take care of the initial contingencies. When we are overwhelmed, as I keep saying, we'll be able to restock and to support them better.
Dr. Jaba, you wanted to make a point earlier. Hello, Dr. Nyaba. Dr. Nyaba, unmute for me.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Nyaba, I can hear you. Make your point.
Yeah, I think my point was about how we prepared when it occurred. But I think my colleague from NADMO mentioned it as part of our sensitization program that we started 3 days ago, was for the farmers to get prepared, those who think that they can harvest their produce that are ready for harvesting to do that. And those who also have livestock to move to higher grounds. But in terms of those who settle closer to the river banks, I think we were urging them to quickly find relatives on the higher grounds to start to move to those areas. But I think that every year these things happen. We do all this talking, and when the rain subsides, we go to sleep. That is where my concern is, and I want government to take that seriously because this water is a good resource for us. We shouldn't allow it to cause havoc, carry shelter, our livestock, our food crops away, and at the end of the day, we continue to complain. Government will have to find means of resettling these communities.
Okay, sure. Sure.
Yeah, Aisha, I think Dr. Nyaba has a good case. This is a capital-intensive project with the Pwalugu Dam. We at NADMO were excited last year when His Excellency, the Vice President and the team went there. If you look at the Hansard of Parliament, it's almost about $1 billion, is it dollars or CDs project. And so we urge government not to relent in the effort to get the Pwalugu Dam constructed so that they can harvest the water and save, to have all year round a great distance. That's the vision. But to save lives and properties in these times. That's why Doctor is saying that after this, it's like we all go to sleep and then the next year we come back. If efforts in the construction of the Pwalugu Dam is intensified, it will help all of us, especially the people in the area, and Doctor and NADMO and the rest of us will all be happy for that.
Thankfully, David Pra, who is Senior Government and PRO at the Volta River Authority, Pwalugu Multi-Purpose Dam Project, has joined us. He can provide some answers for us. What has become of the Pwalugu Dam? Hello, David.
And first of all, let me extend my greetings to my co-panelists and then our cherished guests. Like you've stated, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nadanko Akufo-Addo, sees the Pwalugu Multi-Purpose Dam Project as the key to all this flooding problem that we are facing. As we are all aware, the Pwalugu Multi-Purpose Dam is a three-pronged facility. We have the hydropower dam, which is going to give us 70 megawatts. We have the solar component, which is going to give us 50 megawatts. And 25,000 hectares of irrigable land will be cultivated. And the reservoir area covers 360 kilometers square. And so from 8 major communities, including Talensi, Nabdam, Binduri, Boku West, West Mamprusi, covering East Mamprusi, Bunkrugu, Yoyo area. So currently, the project has reached the pre-construction stage. The pre-construction, we mean land acquisition. The project has to acquire the land. We are acquiring almost about 11,000 hectares of land from these districts. So it's very critical. We have also engaged the communities on the RAP, that is the Resettlement Action Plan, and then the Environmental Social Impact Assessment. 2 weeks, we are moving to Zebila to engage the community on whatever impact that they may see that this project is bringing, so that we now get the executive instrument for the acquisition of the land. We are also at the Weir area, that is the West Mamprusi, Sariba area, where we are demarcating the land and where that's going to help with the irrigation facility. Contractors are on the site. The Power China, which is the main contractors, are on the Kurugu side of the project. What they are doing is to still carrying out extensive hydrological studies because this dam is so big, because of the flatness of the area, it's going to cover a whole lot of area. So what they are doing is to carry extensive hydrological studies so that when we finish, then the Pwalugu multipurpose dam will be able to contain this. Again, we are resettling 7 communities from these areas, 7 communities. These communities are within the flood-prone areas. For example, Sukna, Kurugu, Harkuri, Gurubio, Pasitu, and then Nungu communities, all will be resettled. What is happening is that when we say it's a flood control project, it means we try to move the people from the flood-prone areas, the low-lying areas, to a very safe place, so that when the time comes and then there's any spillage, the 360 kilometers reservoir area will contain the flooding, and we use it to generate hydro electric power and then the irrigation facility. So the contractors are on the site, surveyors are on the site. We who are also engaging the communities on the land acquisition, because you are acquiring almost 11,000 hectares, people's land. We need to do extensive consultation so that at least, and then compensation plan will have to be in place. Our schedule, November, December, the construction has to start. That is the brick and mortar has to start. So we are not far. Note that this is a huge project, and it's going to, the last one for the construction is 4 years. So the government is committed, the president is committed, Water River Authority is extensively carrying out the activities, and I think we'll get there.
Are there timelines as to when this project will be completed?
Like I stated, now we are still on the land acquisition. We finished the demarcation of the dam boundary from all the 7 upstream districts, and then West Mamprusi, we are also carrying out. By the end of next month, we should finish with the demarcation and the surveying of the weir area for the irrigation. And then by November, December, the contractor, that's Power China, has to finish with everything and begin with the bricks and mortar activity. And it will run through to 4-year period, and the completion will be.
So exactly when would we feel the impact?
The impact will be felt when the dam is completed. When
that is in 4 years.
Complete. Yes, in 4 years' time. So that is what will feel the impact.
Dr. Nyaba, this should come as good news. Dr. Nyaba, kindly unmute for me.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Nyaba, go ahead.
Yeah, I said this has rather come to me as a surprise that Mr. David today is telling me that they are now at the initial stage doing community consultation. Because last year when this discussion came up, we made clear that contractors will move to site and the work had started. We had 2 years since this whole discussion has taken place when government said they have made allocation for construction of the Pwalugu Dam. Last year budget allocation was made, this year budget allocation was made. So if all this thing is done and then we made a follow-up and we can't see any contractor on the site, and today Mr. David is telling me that they are now doing consultation, they are now doing community settlement. This is a different story from the discussion that took place last year, because we were all in this country when the issue came and then we had the response from government. I had occasion of visiting the site with some media men, including your own reporter from Bagre. We got to the place and we couldn't see any contractor on the site. So the only portion that should come to me as good news is when David said contractors are at the site, which I'm not too sure of that information. Because when we went there the other time, there was nothing going on about the salt cutting that took place last year.
David, you want to provide some answers?
Yeah, quickly, I want my good friend Dr. Nyaba to note that we are talking about over or nearly $1 billion project. We are talking about a project that's going to have that is hybrid system, hydropower. We are talking about solar facility. We're talking about 25,000 hectares. It's not just, possibly maybe one block that we are talking. It's a huge project. We are taking people's land, 11,000, even land demarcation alone. It takes almost about a year or two to demarcate and to survey the whole area. We've finished with all the Talensi, we finished with Nabdam area, we finished with the Dila area, we finished with the Bunkrugu portion, Nampanduru portion, we are finished with Gambaga escarpment area. We've come down to Sariba, where we are currently on. The surveyors, you see, when we talk about the contractors, the surveyors are also contractors. They are on site as we are talking, as me and you are talking. They are on site. The Water River Authority officials are also continuously engaging the communities. We are working with the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority. So Dr. Yaba should also bear with us that this is a very huge project, and it's not just dam construction. It's not just like putting up one block, one building. No. We are talking about a huge facility, and we need to get it right. We are learning from we are learning from Pong, and better we are learning from Akosombo. So we need to get it right, and there are timelines to all these things. You just cannot accept any of this. So you should exercise restraint. We have given ourselves a 4-year duration for construction. Fortunately, the Sino Hydro, the Power China contractors, they are just at Tamale interchange area. They are the same people who are also constructing the Pwalugu Dam. We have been working with them. Even some of the officials are part of our team who are doing the stakeholder engagement so that they understand the community dynamics and the demographic characteristics of the area. So you should bear with us. We have not relented on our effort. We have been very, very focused and very aggressive in our activities. Engagement is a key component. They are taking almost about 11,900 hectares of land from the people. Where are they going to farm? We are getting alternative farmlands from the chiefs and people. The Nairi, the revered chief, has been very, very supporting to this project. Now Professor Nabila has been very supporting the Bokunaba, all the chiefs and people of the area, that Tongorana from Talensi, they've all been very helpful, and we've never relented. So possibly he may join us in one of our engagements, and he will understand that, yes, the Water River Authority has never relented as the government representative of the project.
Dr. Nyaba, he says you should bear with government because it's a big project.
Yeah, I think I just have to take his words. My concern is that this 4 years project, and then you use 2 years to do resettlement and then engagement. As we speak, the resettlement hasn't been done. He's talking about doing the demarcation, doing the engagement, and 2 years are almost gone. So if you can use the rest of the 2 years to be able to finish with the construction, then that is good. So our concern is that the work should be done. But from the information we got last year from key government officials, including the vice president, was that work had started. Contractors moved to site and work had started. But if this work means the initial engagements and the rest of the 2 years left will be enough to complete the construction, we are fine with that.
Aisha, please, let's note that the pre-construction activities are even more expensive than the construction. The construction phase, you are talking about the actual dam height and then the dam site activities. That is not as expensive as what we are doing. So they should bear with us. I have been in the north for almost about 6 months. I have been in the north and doing series of engagement, joining the surveyors. We are working with Lands Commission. They are doing valuation of properties. Each and every property on the land has to be valued for government to pay compensation. And we finished with the 7 districts. We are now left with the Weir area at the Talensi, West Mampusi, and then some southern part of the city, that's Arugu, Pwalugu, Arugu area. So that is where we are. The players are currently on.
Mr. Pra, I think I understand Dr. Nyabe's plight. He's saying that if it is possible to use the rest of the 2 years to complete the job, is this something workable? All right, so I think we lost David Pra there, but Dr. Nyaba, I'm sure you're convinced with what David Pra has been explaining to you.
Usually, it's not like you want to criticize government projects, but we always speak based on experience. The question you ask is very relevant because based on what David is saying, you see that this is a huge project. And last year, we were told that work had started. So if we are using these 2 years to still do the preliminary work, and then he is convinced that the rest of the 2 years left is enough to get the construction completed, we are fine. But let's all record this, that next year we won't come here and still be talking about work that is ongoing, because we have seen this in the past. So we just hope that this particular construction will be different.
Mr. Isi, you've been monitoring the conversation. Your last words.
Yeah, thank you. I think Dr. Nyaba, being a citizen and a good one at that, with his people, I believe they can liaise with David and then know the stage-by-stage progress of work. So they'll be able to make their inputs. I believe they are not the technocrats, but as citizens who are directly affected by the works of the Pwalugu Dam. I think if they engage them, because he has a huge following, Dr. Nyaba, and so if he understands it and is able to explain it to his people, as he's saying, if the next 2 years we'll be able to do the construction proper and complete it, it will be good for all of us, especially those of us at NADMO, because we wouldn't be saddled with some of these things. But if David is there, Aisha, there's been this argument that it comes to us at NADMO that Talensi, the Pwalugu is a bit downstream, but when the dam is, the Bagre is spilled, the impact is on those closer to the border upstream. Does it mean they are still going to be bearing the brunt even after the construction of the Pwalugu Dam? Or there's a measure that is going to be put in place upstream to ensure that the people there are not affected continuously, even after the construction of the Pwalugu Dam? That's what I'll be glad if David can answer that for us.
Unfortunately, we lost David, and we're still trying to get him to explain some of these things to us. But this is a conversation that will continue as far as the Bagre Dam spillage continues, and until this is over, this conversation is not over. Thank you so much, gentlemen, this afternoon for your time. Dr. Charles Nyaba is head of programs at the Peasant Farmers Association. Georgia Isi is director of communication at NADMO, and David Pra, who we lost briefly, is senior government and a PR officer at VRA Pwalugu multi-purpose dam project. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. But still to come on the polls, the Ghana Police Service has commissioned the National Motor Traffic Monitoring and Surveillance Center at the police headquarters with over 3,000 intelligent video surveillance cameras stationed at major intersections and accident-prone areas to arrest such acts. When we return from this break, there's a bigger conversation as to how this will work and how this will help curb the rampant accidents on our roads.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Welcome back to the Pulse. Now, if you're a fan of entertainment TV program, I'm sure you would have heard about the Big Brother house, where every activity of the housemates are live on TV and people can see from what and how they eat, dress, bath, eat, and even when they have sex, people can see live. Simply, the good, bad, and the ugly, all beamed to the rest of the world. That's a similar system being employed by the police to now crack down on dangerous drivers in a fresh effort to keep our streets safe using technology. We have all the details from the Police Traffic Monitoring Center launched in Accra today. The police is relying on technology to deal with rising cases of accidents and its attendant deaths on our roads. But of course, we've been monitoring the results of accidents on our roads. Very worrying situation there. And if you monitored us, we've been talking and we've been heavy on this all week. My colleague Hannah Odame visited the Traffic Monitoring Center ahead of the launch. Here's what she found.
On a regular day, when we report for duty, after logging into the system, we straightforward start to look for the offenders. So we look for people who park on the verge of the road, people who drive recklessly, people who try to jump red light, people overspeeding. We try to look out for all these people on a regular day.
And so, is it every day that you catch a road offender, or there are some days that go by?
Every day we are here 24/7, looking out for people who drive or offend on the road. So we look out for offenders.
Is it every day you catch road offenders?
Yeah, every
some
day.
Days you don't get any road offenders?
Every day. Since we started, this place is road out. We've been getting offenders every day.
Every day?
Yes.
What are some of the road offenses that you get?
Now, people who park on unauthorized spaces, people who drive and pass through red light, people who park on the verge on the road, and so on. So look out for all these people. Trucks that get spoiled and they park them on the road, or they leave them on the road. We call for the assistant to go for them to tow the vehicles from the road.
Yes. Wow. So you've been seeing live accidents?
Yes, we've been seeing live accidents.
It means you also have to go through some psychological counseling, because that's so hard for you to see.
Yes, these are some of the things. Well, we still have, it's part of our duty. That is why we are trained. So it's part of the duty. Policemen, when there's any accident, policemen have to go on the road to go and pick the dead bodies and those things. So we also do the same thing here. We see the accident day in, day out, and then we call on the assistant of the policeman out there to go and assist.
In this way, nobody can challenge you?
No. Usually we still can go in and pick the videos and play back for the offenders to see. So when they go to the station, there's an argument between them. We come for the video or download the video, play at the courtroom for all of them to see.
Well, that was my colleague Hannah Odame with excerpts of what to expect in our discussion shortly. But let's look at some figures because this week we've been heavy on accidents because of what has been happening on our roads. Let's look at 2021 accident statistics from January to July 2021. And the number of cases reported, you have almost 10,000 cases there. Number of persons killed, and that's 1,706. Number of persons injured, almost 10,000 also. Now, number of vehicles involved from January to July 2021, you have a total number of vehicles, 16,226 vehicles. There's a breakdown of which of them is commercial, private, and motorcycle. And the private vehicles top the list. 6,829 vehicles that are private are involved in accidents from January to July 2021 alone. That's 7 months into the year. Now, for commercial drivers vehicles, you have the figure over there. I'll deal with this shortly, and then we can have a look at that figure. But if you total all of them, you have 24.43%. That's the increase between January and July. If you look at 2020 and 2021, if you're making a comparison, you look at the same period, January to July, you will see that there's an increase of 24.43%. And definitely that is why the police has put in place this to ensure we reduce the carnage on our roads, because this afternoon we'll be having a bigger conversation about this one. Director General in charge of the MTT, the DCOP Nyakwa Boaje, he wants motorists to be extra vigilant on our roads.
When we report for duty, after logging into the system, we straightforward start to look for the offenders. So we look for people who park on the verge of the road, people who drive recklessly, people who try to jump red light, people over speeding. We try to look out for all these people on a regular day.
And so, is it every day that you catch a road offender, or there are some days that go by?
Every day we are here 24/7, looking out for people who drive or offend on the road. So we look out for offenders.
Is it every day you catch road offenders?
Yeah, every
some
day.
days you don't get any road offenders?
Every day. Since we started, this place is road out. We've been getting offenders every day.
Every day?
Yes.
What are some of the road offenses that you get?
Now, people who park on unauthorized spaces, people who drive and pass through red light, people who park on the verge on the road, and so on. So look out for all these people. Trucks that get spoiled and they park them on the road, or they leave them on the road. We call for the assistant to go for them to tow the vehicles from the road. Yes.
Wow. So you've been seeing live accidents?
Yes, we've been seeing live accidents.
It means you also have to go through some psychological counseling, because that's so hard for you to see.
Yes, these are some of the things. Well, we still have, it's part of our duty. That is why we are trained. So it's part of the duty. Policemen, when there's any accident, policemen have to go on the road to go and pick the dead bodies and those things. So we also do the same thing here. We see the accident day in, day out, and then we call on the assistant of the policeman out there to go and assist.
In this way, nobody can challenge you?
No. Usually we still can go in and pick the videos and play back for the offenders to see. So when they go to the station, there's an argument between them. We come for the video or download the video, play at the courtroom for all of them to see.
Thankfully, Supervisor at the Center, Chief Inspector Joseph Zano, is with us in the studio with some more discussions on this. And of course, good to see you, Chief Inspector.
Thank you very much.
I've been wondering, when I saw the whole thing on the, like, you're having the whole world, the whole of Ghana at one center, monitoring what is happening on our streets. And I asked myself, I mean, how different is this from, for instance, the previous ones that you've launched, Spot Fine and all of that? How does this center work?
To start with, this is the state-of-the-art center that we are basically using to look out for drivers who commit road traffic offenses. So that is the target group, those who go contrary to the road traffic regulations. Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to explain to me your operations, how you're going to be sitting at one place and monitoring different parts of the country and all the streets.
All right, so this is a center that has cameras that we refer to as intelligence video surveillance cameras. They are not the ordinary CCTV cameras that we know, because they have special security features, such as what we refer to as the automatic number plate recognition. We have the face recognition. What it means is that these cameras operate 24/7, during day and at night. It records. So even if it happens at the blind side of those monitoring at the center, we can still go back into the system to play back what happened when we were not monitoring. Now, the cameras have also been strategically installed or positioned across the country. That is at the various traffic intersections, some vital installations. Then we also have them at some of the highways, or on some of the highways that we use to monitor movement of vehicles.
Okay, so what's the motivation for this center? Because I know there are other things put in place to enforce the law. What's the motivation for this additional center?
Yeah, it serves as a backup to the field men. It means that we are e-policing, so that even though we have policemen on the field, we can still use the camera to look out for offenders. Now, in the event that we don't have a police officer on the ground, it just means that the camera is doing the work. So it also means, again, that we are looking out for people via this intelligence video surveillance cameras installed.
Okay. And of course, do you have all our roads captured?
No, all the roads are not captured. But then, as I said earlier, we have strategically positioned them such that if we want to go into looking out for a particular road, we should be able to reach out to that location.
So for now, how many of the roads have you captured on your system?
I'll not be able to state it outright, but then we have over 3,000 cameras installed across the country.
So where can we locate this center?
The center is located at the National Police Headquarters Operations Center. Yes.
And so if I have a complaint, what do I do?
Well, a complaint such as what?
Like I see people misbehaving on the road, or they've crossed red lights or something else. And if it's not captured on your machine, can I come to your center and come and lodge a complaint?
Well, all you need to do is to go to the nearest police station and lodge a complaint. The police station within which jurisdiction the offense is committed will not come to us with a request that offense AB has been committed at so-so location. Then we are able to retrieve or download a feed of what happened.
Okay.
That you are.
Let's look at the sanction regime. How does it, the center operate? For instance, your car, the center has captured, or your cameras has captured a car crossing red light. How does it work?
All right. So we have officers that are specially trained to look out for these offenders. With the help of the cameras, we are able to take a shot. I said it earlier that these are special cameras that have security features.
Okay.
So we are first of all able to take a shot of the offender. Then we take a short video. In doing this, we are looking out for the registration number of the vehicle. We are looking out for the make, and then we are looking out for the color. Once we are able to do all these things, we are in contact with DVLA. What we do is we forward the information that we have gotten to DVLA for further particulars. For instance, the chassis number of the vehicle. We are also looking for the owner's address and the contact number to the owner of the car.
Okay.
So you would be invited for prosecution. Now, I said it earlier that it will be recorded either by snapshot or video, so that in case the offender argues with the police, we tender this evidence in court for prosecution.
Let's look at the end objective of the center.
When you say end objective?
What do you intend to achieve? Do you have a target?
Well, we just want to prevent or stop this misbehavior on our roads. We want to stop people from parking at unauthorized places. We want to stop people from driving on the shoulders of the road, people who ignore road markings, which poses danger to other road users. Of course, you might be doing the right thing, but once he goes contrary or violates the traffic rule, it might go a long way to affect you. As you can see, this is just Pinterest under bridge. People are moving in their right of way, but then you realize that others have decided to use the other way around. What happens if he crashes into your car? So at the end of the day, we are all trying to look out for people who commit offense. We want to stop accidents on our roads. We want to let the public know that we are watching them. They are being looked out for.
Okay. That's a very interesting scenario you have there, but you didn't tell me about the sanction. I mean, once you're captured by this special camera, what are you to face? What are the sanctions?
Well, you will be taken to court. You will either be fined or the judge decides what to do to you.
Is this in any way increasing the punishment regime? I mean, from aside the one we already know?
No, it's the same thing.
Okay.
If you drive across red traffic light and you are supposed to pay a penalty of AB, of course, the same thing will be meted out to you when you are caught by these cameras.
All right, so this is a center that would also be monitoring and see how it helps us reduce the carnages on our roads. Chief Inspector Zanu, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon, but also we'll be working with you and look out for you because we've always been working with the police, you know that. All right, so wish you well in your efforts.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
But we'll be crossing over to Germany because President Akufo-Addo is in that country dealing with various official duties there. Among the events there is his visit to the drug manufacturer Pfizer, signing of a pact with German authorities on some economic cooperations, among others. This morning, he attended a ceremony in Düsseldorf, Germany, where he delivered a speech as part of the 75th anniversary celebrations of North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany. He used the occasion to want more German manufacturing companies to follow the example of car maker Volkswagen to set up in Ghana.
We in Ghana are drawing inspiration from the success stories of North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany, because likewise, we want to build a progressive and prosperous country. There's an often cited African proverb which says, and I quote, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." We have resolved to work hand in hand with North Rhine-Westphalia and Germany because we desire to walk far, especially as we share common attachments to the common values of respect for individual liberties and human rights, of respect for the rule of law, and of respect for the principles of democratic accountability. Embarking on such a journey means we are having to accelerate the process of changing the structure of the Ghanaian economy, which will enable us to participate fully in the global marketplace, not on the basis of exports of raw materials, but on the basis of the exports of things we make. With Germany being a major exporter of industrial products and technology, with North Rhine-Westphalia being in the lead, Ghana's relations with Germany are of utmost importance and must be hinged on this. The recent establishment of a Volkswagen assembly plant in Accra is a welcome development, and we are encouraged by the fact that more and more German companies have expressed their willingness to set up shop in Ghana. We want to renew and deepen our relations with Germany, with North Rhine-Westphalia at her center, to our mutual advantage. We do want to, and we shall work to take Ghana to where she deserves to be, a prosperous and dynamic member of the world community, which is neither victim nor pawn of the world order. Ghana is doing her part in leading the march for the development of Africa. It is an exciting time for us, and we welcome residents and enterprises of North Rhine-Westphalia, and indeed of Germany as a whole, to join us to achieve this goal.
Event happened yesterday, but so how have such investments in the past fared? How have Ghanaians, or how can Ghanaians take full advantage of the inflows instead of opposing it? Joining us for a conversation is Kofi Appiah-Adomankor. He's West Africa Regional Director for CATS International, a research and public policy think tank. Good to see you, Mr. Adomankor.
Yeah, good to see you, but just my name is Appiah-Adomankor. Kofi is not my name.
Okay, Kusi is Kusi rather. I'm sure it was a typo. Okay, so Kusi Appiah-Adomankor.
But the other is Appiah-Adomankor, just for the...
Right. Okay. Thanks for the correction. But let's look at this whole investment. We should be happy that our president is going door to door looking for people to come and invest in our country, first of all.
Yes, I think it's something that all Ghanaians should be happy about it. At least there's going to be a job creation for the teeming Ghanaians who find it difficult to get a job after university.
Okay. How can we take advantage of this kind of environment that the president is trying to create for us?
Okay, so if we take, for example, the automobile industries that have started producing cars here, brand new cars, but you realize that there's still a huge appetite for used cars from the US and other parts of the world, simply because most Ghanaians' income cannot afford to buy brand new cars here.
Okay.
And for us to be able to take advantage of it, it requires that the level of salary in Ghana goes up. But of course, salary can go up when you have productivity also. I mean, productivity and salary are two parallel things.
Okay.
They move par with each other. And so Ghanaians can only take advantage of all these things if only our salaries and our income level is such that people would prefer to buy a brand new car than to buy a used vehicle.
But what does all of this mean to our unemployment situation? I mean, over the years, we've been complaining about how the youth finish their university education and they are home, no jobs and what have you. If we have this opportunity of people investing in our country, what does this mean for our unemployment situation?
So I think there's going to be a domino effect. For example, if we were to hear that Amazon were to select Ghana as their operations in Africa, a lot of businesses are going to also come to Ghana and build their business around Amazon coming here.
Yeah.
Likewise, if we have other German investors coming here to do business, others will also follow up. So you may not necessarily be working directly with the German firm that is on a broad front page headline, but other firms that are coming, financial institutions, insurance companies, and other, even hospitals to serve the German expat would also be set up, and nurses and doctors and cleaners will all find jobs. And so there's going to be a ripple effect of all these things that the president is doing. So I think we should laud the president, but so also do you also need to ensure that jobs are created, the income level. Of course, we are still a low income and middle income country, but realize that the cost of living in Ghana is such that most Ghanaians cannot even afford to buy quality goods, and so you realize that our market is flooded with substandard goods from Asia and other places. And so we need to do more to make Ghanaian, the
Ghanaian worker, or the ordinary Ghanaian.
Yes, get a very decent income. And I think this is a very complicated question. I'm sure government will not be happy if I say this, because I mean, increasing the wage, even public sector wage by 10% has a huge consequence of the national budget. But some way, somehow, I think we need to address the issue of wage.
And of course, how do you think government can address this? Because certainly that is where other countries are going, bringing in other people to invest in their countries. How do we improve the living conditions of our members or our citizens so that we can actually fully benefit from this VWs and all the other companies that will be coming to invest here?
Yes, I think when you are able to create jobs and the job starts to pay very well, I think that businesses will also be able to pay their workers a huge income. I mean, our economy has been buying and selling. The service sector is kind of very small, and as the service sector develops, that is one of the areas where salary level seems to go higher than compared to that of the manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
So gradually we are going there. If you look at the data from the Ghana Statistical Service, you realize that the service sector is doing better than even the real sector. And of course, we should also be concerned because the service sector, you realize that few people are there. There's the sector that employs lots of Ghanaians, the agri sector. The farmers are still impoverished. They can't still get some basic things. They can't even afford to buy, a second-hand car. And so they still have to buy an old alacha simply because of their income level. So there's a lot that we need to do. But at least getting investors here is the first step, but we need also as a country to create the enabling environment so that the investors, when they come, they can stay here, and then also Ghanaians will be able to earn an income to be able to buy those products that. But I also want to say that most of the time when president goes and get investors, foreign investors, they are also giving some tax incentives. But the Ghanaian investor who is struggling, because the German investor may borrow at 2% or 1% in his country, but you are in Ghana and you borrow at 25%. And you are not even getting any tax incentive from your government, but the foreigner who is coming is getting tax incentive. And so we need to ensure that there's a kind of a level playing field for businesses, regardless of which country that they are coming from. Because for me, I'm very much concerned that the SMEs in Ghana are the most driving force of our economy, because whenever they make profit, all the profit stays in the country. But the multinationals, all profits are repatriated. Some of these people come even for 10 years, they don't even pay taxes. They don't even pay corporate taxes. Or they pay very minimal. And so we should also have focus our attention on the private sector here, the already Ghanaian SMEs, such that they can work here, produce, create job, and then their income will stay here, and then there wouldn't be so much pressure on the city. Because during the first quarter of the year, of every year, when multinationals have declared their dividends, at that time they transfer all their earnings back home, and that put pressure on the city. And we can contain this tide if we also invest heavily in our own local domestic champions, such that they will not repatriate their earnings, but rather it will stay here. They will build the malls, they will build the hospitals, and they will build the institutions, and Ghanaians will live on them.
I'm much more interested in upgrading the living conditions of the Ghanaian so that they can at least purchase a brand new car instead of a home use one, or they can buy standard goods, not substandard. Now, the bit about the cars elsewhere, you get people just walking into showrooms and picking a vehicle, and they are giving a period of time to pay for it. I mean, you use your car for some time and you want to change, you just walk in and present that car and buy a new one. And sometimes even it's the people who are following the people to come and buy new cars. Oh, just come and pick the new car. You have a period of time to pay for it. I mean, how do we also get to that stage, that system, so that it's not like you are just going to carry so much cash and go and purchase a brand new car, but there's a system, there's something that works for you as a worker?
Okay, thank you very much. I think 15 years ago, we didn't have shopping malls in Ghana. Sure. But today we have more than 10 malls littered across the country.
Okay.
Now, Ghanaians can now be identified by their unique identifier, that's their Ghana card number, which is also your social security number.
Definitely.
And so for banks to be able to do this, first they should be able to establish your identity.
Okay.
Now with the digital, I don't speak for the government, but then with the digitization program that we are doing, very soon financial institutions will be able to get enough data about Ghanaians, where you are, where you stay, your income level, and other things. Okay. So that based upon that information, you can go to, let's say, Mercedes or Toyota or whatever, and you say, look, you want to buy this Toyota Highlander. They will just take your ID and just check and say, look, your credit score is very good. So they can give that thing to you, because the information that they are getting from the system says that you work, you earn on average of, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis. So they can take about 4,000 cedis monthly.
Every month?
Yes.
Okay.
But one thing is this. The problem in Ghana is that the interest on car loans is very high because of the volatilities on the CD and the dollar issue. Yep. So there is also one thing, and also government actions also affect how the CD performs. Yeah. And our appetite for foreign goods also add up to the way the CD performs. And so fix the country too. We must also fix things that will also make the CD remain strong, so that, I mean, when banks are giving you a loan, they will know that in 2 years' time or so, the CD value will still be stable. Because of the fear that the CD value is going to depreciate, and most of these financial institutions have also borrowed money from other countries. That explains why sometimes but I think that we can still do something about the high interest rate we have in this country, and that would also make the cost of borrowing affordable for every. Because in most countries, for example, you can still buy a car and pay for 6 years with no interest on it. Yes, with no interest on the vehicle, all because the currency is stable, inflation is also stable, so the money that they are giving to you, they are not going to suffer any loss on it. But I think gradually we need to be able to build our economy in such a way that we can all enjoy these things.
Okay, so we posted on our Twitter page and we're asking whether you would buy a brand new vehicle at a slightly higher cost, because we know in Ghana, mostly we want to buy home use. But if we want to buy a brand new car and we need to top up that money a little and get a brand new, is that something you would embrace? Let's see some of the comments coming. And this one is coming from, okay, it says, if free fuel is included in the Obatampa package, okay. This one says yes, it's from, okay, Adam Moore. And Mickey says, of course. So people are so interested in this. And of course, we've been having that conversation. Mr. Adomako has been talking about how we need to upgrade our living standards. Now, Mark says yes, Menja says yes, and they're all tweeting at the question we posed. And hashtag, you can also send in your tweet, hashtag the polls. But let me ask you this, there's been a number of times investors will come to set up in the country. At some point, they would have to fold up and go back to their country. I mean, partly because of some conditions that is not favorable to them. How does government manage this? Because we as a country also want to cash in on the investors coming in. And as you mentioned earlier, when they make profit, they take it back home. So how do we ensure that we do not lose as a country, and then we also try and keep the investors here?
Okay, so about 2 years ago, we were consulted by the World Economic Forum to do a study on investment facilitation in Ghana. Okay. We spoke to majority of foreign firms here, and one of the things that they said was that there's nothing like an aftercare here for foreign investors. Okay. You know, when a woman is pregnant, the woman will be going for antenatal. And then after delivery, he has to go towards postnatal. So if you say that, oh, you've given birth and you're happy, you will not go for postnatal services. Your child will not be able to get the vaccinations and the thing, and then kwashiorkor, whatever might even affect your child. Yeah. So most, in the past, the GIPC and the government institutions were not focusing on the firms that have come here to give them a very good aftercare. Okay. But for the past couple of years, I think that it has started to improve. And so the aftercare mechanism is very, very important to be able to follow up on them and know their needs and see how it can be resolved. Okay. And also the tax, the energy situation. Between 2013 and 16, a lot of businesses moved from here to Côte d'Ivoire because the energy sector, the electricity was not reliable. And then when it became reliable, the prices, the tariff was so, prohibitive. Until we were able to resolve our energy crisis and also ensure that the business environment is conducive. Because nowadays, almost all countries in Africa are peaceful. So in the days that we were saying that Ghana is the most peaceful country in Africa, that days were the prehistoric, Adamic era. But now people are looking for other indices. So if you fall short on that, capital is is mobile. It can easily move from here to Côte d'Ivoire. And Côte d'Ivoire has become the net gainer of businesses that are relocating from Ghana. Okay.
All right. So this is something we'll be looking forward to as our president keep getting people to come in here. And we'll look out for what we can also gain from these investors. But I want to thank you so much, Apia Kusi Adomako, for joining us for this discussion. He's an investment analyst. But let's take you also live to Berlin, Germany, and speak to Uli Perez with our partners DW on the African leaders' visits as well as events with COVID-19. Thanks so much for your time, Uli. First of all, Germany is hosting at the end of this week an important meeting for Africa and also in particular for Ghana. Can you tell us more about this?
German Chancellor Angela Merkel announced she would host this Friday the fourth version of the so-called Compact with Africa conference, which groups certain African countries, among them Ghana, with European governments and international organizations such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The aim of the Compact with Africa program, which was launched under the German G20 presidency in 2017, is to improve the framework conditions for private sector investment and employment opportunities in Africa, and through investment funds and reform partnerships promote sustainable economic development. The other African countries taking part in the program are Egypt, Ethiopia, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Rwanda, Senegal, Togo and Tunisia.
As Germany struggles with the fourth wave of the pandemic, what is the country doing to combat it?
German leaders have introduced new measures to try and curb the rising numbers in infections, which are closely related to the Delta variant of the coronavirus. Basically, those who have been fully vaccinated or have recovered from the virus will be able to enjoy more or less every aspect of public life, like going to museums, the cinema, or meeting friends at an indoor restaurant, as long as they can provide proof. Things will be more complicated for those who have not been vaccinated. They will need a negative antigen test, which until now is free for everyone, but which the unvaccinated will have to pay for themselves in the future. The goals of these new measures are twofold: make sure that public life can continue more or less uninterrupted, and increase the pressure on those who have not yet been vaccinated.
So, Uli, does this mean that Germany will face a new lockdown?
German authorities have promised that they will not introduce new lockdown measures, in particular for those who are fully vaccinated. Around 50 million Germans, or 60% of the population, have now received both jabs. This is more than many countries around the world, but it's still not enough to ensure herd immunity. There is growing concern among political leaders when it comes to younger generations between the ages of 10 to 49, who have been particularly affected by the new wave of infections and whose vaccination rates are in certain age groups not as high as in the case of older Germans. Many youngsters could also face an even greater risk given the opening of schools after the summer holidays.
And that's a reporter from DW giving us update from Berlin. Thank you so much. Let's take a break on the polls and bring you sports after.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Hello there, Hans Mainsander here with the sport on the pulse, and three Premier League players make up the shortlist for the UEFA Men's Player of the Year awards. Chelsea's Italian and French midfield superstar Jorginho and N'Golo Kante face off against Manchester City and Belgium's Kevin De Bruyne. The winner will be announced tomorrow at the Champions League group stage draw in Turkey. And joining me via Zoom is my good friend Bilishan to get some more perspective on this. First up, Bill, are these the best players during the season under review? On mute.
Performances. I believe so, yes.
Awesome. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I believe they are the best players that we have for the season. I'm actually very glad that there has been the focus on midfielders now, because previously it will be on the forwards and the strikers, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, and some other player will dominate the UEFA best player. But for now, they brought in Kevin De Bruyne, who of course is an attacking midfielder creator. N'Golo Kante, who does the defensive job and sometimes does the box-to-box job, and Jorginho, who plays deep and controls the tempo of the game. So I'm really glad this is happening for the first time ever since the award was incepted. All three of them have made very good cases for the award. Jorginho, you see what he did with Italy in the Euros. You know, he was one of the most important players in the team. N'Golo Kante, we saw how he rose to the occasion when we got to the Champions League semi-finals with Real Madrid and the Champions League final with Manchester City. De Bruyne, some people were saying, hey, he hasn't performed up to standard, but let's not rule him out because he was joint second in assists for Champions League. So that shows the kind of quality he brings as well.
And it's interesting the way you've gone about this analysis. It does look like it's Jorginho in the lead for this one, and a huge part of it has to be Italy's, campaign at the Euros and subsequently winning it, isn't it?
Yes, of course. He is best placed to take the award. Of course, with Chelsea, he's been able to win the Champions League. And with Italy, they went all the way to win the Euros. And he was a key member of both squads. In Italy, he played all 7 games. In Chelsea, he was present for their Champions League success. So it won't be much of a surprise if he takes the award home. But the other 2 players can also be well deserving of the award. If we give it to them, that's fine. But Jorginho should be the front runner for this one.
All right, thank you very much, Bill Ishon, for that wonderful analysis. But let's take a look at the nominees for the various awards that will be handed out tomorrow. So the Men's Player of the Year award, the nominees Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City and Belgium, Jorginho of Chelsea and Italy, N'Golo Kante of Chelsea and the France national team. Also the Men's Coach of the Year award, Pep Guardiola of Manchester City. Roberto Mancini masterminded Italy's triumph at Euro 2020, and Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel took over midway through the season and guided Chelsea to the UEFA Champions League. The goalkeeper of the season, and Thibaut Courtois of Real Madrid, Ederson of Manchester City, and Edouard Mendy of Chelsea also in there. And Chelsea well represented in this one. The Defender of the Year, the nominees, Cesar Azpilicueta, Ruben Dias, and Antonio Rudiger. Is an all Premier League affair for that one. And the same men vying for the top award, vying for the midfielders award, Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City, Jorginho of Chelsea, and N'Golo Kante of Chelsea. Forward, well, for the first time maybe in a long while, we are seeing Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi in this list. It's Erling Haaland of Borussia Dortmund, Robert Lewandowski of Bayern Munich, and Kylian Mbappe of Paris Saint-Germain, who could be heading out to Real Madrid. That'll be all for now. Thank you very much. You can check out more sports news at myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Hans Mensando.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
We draw the curtains on the Pulse. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Let's meet again at 9 p.m. on PM Express and let's have a conversation. Coming up next, it's Let's Talk Showbiz. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Hello, you're welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz here on the Joy News channel. My name is Doreen Avio, and trust me, I'm here with more gist today. I can't wait to share with you because listen, when it comes to showbiz, we are number one. I can talk of G-Man today, you know. He has some revelations he's been making for some time. He was on Asempa FM. I'll give you details on that. And also, day in, day out, we keep seeing new acts in the system. And trust me, it looks like those who are coming up, they mean business. We'll share with you here on the show. The name again is Doreen Avu. Just don't go away. I have all for you. If you just joined me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz, and we're starting with our former, should I say, our superstar G-Man. In fact, he was our Michael Jackson back in the 1990s until a serious incident happened where he had to go to prison. He was in the United States for some time. He's back in Ghana, and well, he's been hanging out with some of us and talking about some really good stuff. But of course, my colleague had to pose a question which I'm sure a lot of us have been waiting to hear answers from. For instance, asking him about how he felt when he was sentenced to prison and hanging. And of course, he also had some advice for our musicians, those who go around flaunting their cars, their houses, thinking they're all that. Let's hear from G-Man.
I flew private jets that were put at my disposal. That's the highest height you can go to. So what I say, I traveled around the world, slept in the best hotels, had white people as bodyguards, opening doors, you name it. So I did everything there was to do. And then you are brought to a place where you sleep in a space of 12 inches. And you live like a disabled person, an able person living like a disabled person, because you're told when to sleep, when to get up, when to come out, and when to go inside. So you are reduced. You're no longer human.
Was there a moment where you gave up in there?
Anytime I felt like giving up, you say, I'll go back to the Word of God, and the Word of God will revive me. Then countless times I felt like giving up.
Wow.
Countless time.
I hope so you never thought of doing something against yourself.
I never thought, but I prayed that prayer one time in James 4. Say, rather, if I have to go through this thing, why don't you just kill me?
There are a new crop of stars.
Okay.
Almost system name. And sometimes when you are up there, you get clouded by stardom and fame. So when you sit back and you see them do what they do today, at the end about
ignorance. So, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but I'm stating facts. So what I say, Bible said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It is it doesn't matter how rich, how famous, where you are. 24/7. That's just the bottom line.
Out. Oh, when I'm your G-Wagon, and I'm your day, I have this car, I have this house, I have this swimming pool.
Before you had the G-Wagon, there were people who had more. Whatever you think you have, there are people who have more than that. So what makes you greater than anybody else?
Wow.
So think about it. Material possessions are nothing.
All right, so that was G-Man, and you know, back then he had the whole Jerry curls and all that, but you know, the permit still there. He looks good though. I mean, I don't know his age now, but he looks good, and we thank God that he didn't give up. He's back with us, and I mean, he's a man of God. We love him the way he is, and we really appreciate him talking to us and encouraging the youth of these days. Now, away from that, we have about just 7 days to Something Must Kill a Man, a play by Lateef Abubakar, and with all the endorsement from our favorite actors, Adjete Anan, Nash Shoko. Now, Lateef is actually giving us an insider of what inspired the play. Sometimes when I think about the title, I try to understand. Maybe he will be the best person to give you a better understanding of what to expect. So he was on Daybreak Hits, and he's been explaining to us the inspiration behind the play.
Okay, so for now,
You have a new play, Something Must Kill a Man.
Yes, Something Must Kill a Man.
I should certainly feature in this play. Something must kill a man.
Something must definitely kill a man. We are in search.
The title alone, Something Must Kill a Man.
Yeah, and we are in search for what must kill a man or what can kill a man.
Oh, but obviously we all know.
We know.
But don't we?
Then I'm lost too.
Oh, we all know what will certainly kill a man.
Oh, really?
Something.
Those things there. Yeah, God of gracious.
It is never food.
It is. Oh, really? And someone was saying food. He will eat.
A man will suffer kidney problems, liver problems, brain tumor, cancer, all the cancers in the world. He will never die. Let him drink a whole gallon of hypertension. Still, you go to the hospital and come back.
Yeah.
But that's something.
Whatever he has to do.
He will do.
We need to find out that.
Let him just see it shaking, just like that.
Hey, that something can shake too.
It can shake. Either front or back. People are dying,
People are dying.
People are found in people's bedrooms.
Is
something
the conversation is moving one way.
Oh no, I found it.
You have an answer.
Oh, of course, I have the antidote.
And
I have the antidote.
And Aditiana and Nashoko them are moving about searching for what can kill a man.
I get it. Push yourself. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
He don't know.
He lost. Either he's pretending or not. So Something Must Kill a Man. That's going to be a stage play, huh?
Yes.
In this case, are we going to... Oh, sorry.
So naturally, when people ask me what is Something Must Kill a Man, I would have said it's a comedy play.
Right.
Yes, it's a comedy play, but there's more to that. This time around, it's a creative and unique training experience.
Okay.
That would actually leave an unforgettable memory on the minds of our trainees.
Okay.
It's going to demonstrate how teamwork, good communication and collaboration contribute significantly to the attainment of what our company or organizational goals or whatever work we are actually doing. You understand? We usually do plays that focus on providing solutions to current issues. This time around, we decided to tackle team building and teamwork.
Okay.
But with a research-based reason. So based on Forbes, Forbes is one of the biggest business magazines in the world.
Forbes magazine?
Yes. They did a research and they found out two things. That team building is the most important investment you can make for yourself or for your people. And then the most memorable and successful team buildings, it's one that is done out of the office.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That is actually what Something Must Kill a Man is. It is a team building training which is going to be done out of the office, specifically in an open air theater form at the Labadi Beach Hotel.
Oh, really?
Yes. So not just an ordinary play that you will just laugh out loud, but then it's actually going to educate you and equip you with skills of leadership and proper team building to help you achieve or to be able to enable you apply this at work or whatever you are doing. So it's a unique form of training we are executing after, the lockdown rules have been, relaxed for us a bit in terms of the event and theater space.
All right, so that was Lateef Abubakar, and just so you know, start preparing for the 2nd and the 3rd of September. It's all about Something Must Kill a Man. I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't wait to see this play as well. Let's go out there and learn something for ourselves. Now, I mentioned earlier that day in, day out, we keep seeing new artists in the system, and they're really working hard. Most of them are working hard. Well, my colleague Ibrahim Bembako happened to be at a press launch of an upcoming musician by name Seth Diamond, who has a whole album put together featuring the likes of Kofi Kinata. We also have in there Selena Boateng, and he's actually also putting a concert together to put all this out with the likes of Empress Gifty, Noble Nketiah. Yeah, I remember him as well, and I can't wait. But of course, once IB has been there, I'm sure he's just going to give us a sense of everything that happened there, so that you also have an idea of what to expect in September.
there's this one. Your friend, oh yes, oh. Your friend, oh Jesus. Mishano na mi benu no. Wakame sumasem de be hey. Your friend, oh yes, oh. Your friend, oh Jesus. Mishano na mi benu no. Wakame sumasem de be. This is running after. It's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything.
To have that we should bring in all the things that will help to also sell to the world what we want to project to them. It's always looking as if like we haven't been able to match up to what is happening, and so I'm very much excited to see and to know what he's doing. And I think
well, it is a bold step, maiden album, and you wanted to have a concert with it. That was I mean, a very thought through decision, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was, yes, because most times gospel musicians don't go all, okay, some do try, we are all trying, but I feel like it's about time we go all out, just like a secular musician would do. Let's go all out, let's have our press launches, let's go all out and then do everything we are supposed to do.
The gospel fraternity, they are very particular about the acceptance of their own. Your look, it is not a look they will love to accept. What do you think?
Yeah, I believe with time they would come to understand that it's not about the looks, but it's about your works and your personality and what you stand for. So it's gradually picking up. You know, it's a Western, we are in a global world now, and things are picking up slowly, you understand. So I think it will get to a point that we will take over. Yes, it will take time, but we'll take over.
Yeah.
Right, so those were amazing stuff from the press launch, and we're all looking forward to a successful album and of course a successful concert to launch him into the system. Well, my name is Doreen Avia. A very big thank you to you, Ike and Albert on production. Remember, we are back here same time here on the Joy News channel, and also go on myjoyonline.com, the entertainment page, for more of our stories. On Twitter and Facebook is Doreen Avia, and on Instagram is Doreen_Avio. Have a great evening.